There's gotta be some kind of truth in what I'm saying.
All right. Well, welcome to Whiskey Weights and Whey. I'm Chuck.
Zach.
Wow, it's the it's a little different. This is the first episode with the full setup.
Yeah.
What do you think of it?
First episode of the season, too.
Yeah, season 2.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I love the setup, man. It looks good. It looks sharp.
Yeah, we got at least one sponsor in the angle. I have to let's do this. I'll set up Noah's book since he's our other sponsor. I don't know if he wants to be a sponsor of the whiskey drinking show, but hey, he's been on it, so maybe it's okay.
Yeah.
So season 2, we now have 2 channel sponsors. We're growing. We're getting stuff. If you couldn't tell, we've got chairs here. We've got a monitor that I'm looking up at. If you keep seeing me look up above the camera, it's
Means
me.
Chuck is looking at himself.
Well, that I'm making sure everything's working properly. But we have 3 different shots here, so we're going to be able to really hone in on all this. Show all the beauty or the concern, one or the other.
Concern.
But before we get too deep into everything, let's pour us a drink.
Yeah, absolutely.
This fancy swing out.
We're going to have sound effects.
I can add it in, yeah. Today we are going to be drinking on the Red Breast. We had it at the show, or make sure they can hear us, but had it on our show when Noah was here. We had to set it aside because it was drinking so smoothly. We were going through it pretty quick, but if we need to set it aside again, we can. We've got a nice little collection behind Zach there. Heavy on your pour.
It's good. Don't take a heavy pour.
Chin
Chin chin.
So smooth. It is. It's dangerous. That was a gift to us by one of our clients. We've had, I think, 3 or 4 bottles donated to the show now,
Nice.
which is very good because it saves on the expenses.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've already talked about what we're drinking. We've talked about what the new updates to the show. I mean, you see all the decorations and stuff, but what did you do today for your workout?
You know, this is day 2 back after 6 weeks of being off.
Yes.
So I finally, fractured my hand in November, had the surgery, got the pin out last week, and so kind of been cleared to do some heavily modified work.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels good. It feels good to just be back sweating, feeling winded again, being a part of the community again. It's been less frustrating than I thought it was going to be. I think going through surgeries in the past and just growing in general has led me to accept things really quick.
Yeah.
So it just seemed like it was, man, just like that. And now I'm getting back. It'll take another 6 to 12 weeks before I can start lifting heavier stuff, but I'm happy. But today was just a modified chest cardio ab day.
Yeah, I was a little curious when you said you were sweating because it's pretty damn cold in there.
It is cold.
My
It's
gym
chilly.
does not have
That's why-
central heating.
That's why I wore the pants today, to add a little bit layer.
Well, we did legs today.
Okay.
Little deadlift, light deadlifts, some leg pressing, and got a nice little jelly leg in. So,
Yes, that's always a good feeling.
yeah.
It's just crazy. Yesterday I'm like lifting 10 pounds. I'm sore today. It's so bad. It's so quick of how you can fall off if you're not consistent.
Oh, for sure. It's easy to lose it, and it's hard to get it back.
It is.
Yeah.
Very much so. And that kind of goes into the new year and people setting these resolutions and goals. A lot of people are starting from scratch.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying, this is the first time in 2 years. I was talking to one of my coworkers earlier today, and she's like, this is the first time in 2 years that I'm consistently getting back working out. And she's like, I'm terribly sore. It's like, yeah. But it is. It's kind of like that new start, that fresh start. And so it's almost that way for me too. And I kind of got a little bit of excitement back.
Nice. Well, speaking of New Year's and new starts and everything, it is the new year. Is there any, I guess this is a question posed to the audience, is there any resolutions for your new year? Are you doing anything different in your diet, your exercise, your personal health, mental health, any of that stuff? So if you will, comment down below. I keep looking at all these different cameras. It's going to throw me off really bad. But if you are watching the show, let us know down in the comments. What are you focusing on for 2025?
Yeah, is it fitness? Is it personal growth? Is it your mental health? Is like Chuck said, is it your diet?
Mhm.
I'm just curious. Would love to know what goals that you guys have.
Yeah. Well, what we asked them? Do you have any specifics for 2025?
Specifics. I have a couple of career goals.
Mhm.
One of my biggest goals is to get this new crisis intervention program rolled out to Shelby County.
Oh yeah.
And so that's a big career goal. I want to kind of establish my private practice for therapy and counseling.
Mhm.
So I've got two big career goals. Fitness goals, I really want to do something long, like something endurance wise. It's been, I think the last time I did a significant race was 2021. I did a 100-mile race in Arkansas. So it may not be 100 miles, but I want to do a 50 plus mile outing
Yeah.
this year. Uh, Main priority is to get the hand rehabilitated back to square one.
Yeah.
That is, I had to shift a little bit of the goals to that immediate goal. So that is going to be the focus, and just getting that baseline fitness back. I'm hoping by, you know, March, April, I'm back to hitting it hard,
Mhm.
and that way I can look at something in the fall for something adventurous.
Well, keep me posted. If I can squeeze it in, I would like to crew you. I haven't done that in whew, 15, 12 years now? 12 years?
I think the
It's
first time you
2002,
crewed me
2003?
was when I won
12,
the
13.
Cruel Jewel 50 miler in North Georgia for the first time.
What year was that? Do you remember?
It had to be 16, 2016 ish,
I thought it was earlier than that. I thought it was before I met Alex.
2013.
13. Yeah.
Because 14 was my first 100-mile race, and that was prepping me for my first 100-mile
Yeah,
race.
because I remember that was when Alex and I first started dating. Because I remember texting her throughout the
Yeah,
night. Yeah, and
that's
just having a
right.
conversation. Yeah.
I think it was May 2013,
Yeah.
and it was
12 years ago.
wild. Man, that's wild. What about you? Do you have goals for 2025?
Yeah. So like you, I have both career and personal, but career wise, I'm really hoping to help grow not only this podcast, but the Alabama Strongman podcast that we do on. We do that more live than we do anything else, but also working with Noah on his, trying to get his off the ground. He's got his first episode dropped this week, and it's doing pretty good. It's already
Yeah.
outpacing a lot of the podcasts that we've done. So I'm proud of him. I'm
Yeah, I
excited.
enjoyed it. It was really good listen.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't checked it out, it's Living with No Excuses, hosted by Noah Galloway and Stephen Such. It's on YouTube. I think I just finished uploading it to Spotify, so it's gonna be on all platforms.
Awesome.
We kind of went away from the other ones and just focused it on YouTube. Um, but yeah, getting those podcasts off the ground, also the live streaming. So let's see, as of right now, confirmed. I think we have 6 shows in the first 4 months of the year. So we're going to be live streaming shows in Mississippi, Florida, Alabama, and Colorado, all in the first 4 months of the year, all before the end of April. So several, like we got, I
crazy.
think two are in Alabama, then we got the other states going on too.
It's nuts.
Yeah, and I'm in conversations. I'm not going to say the details of it yet because I sent the quote in. They requested a quote for it, but a major show, um, like world level championship show on the beach has requested quotes for me to come do their live stream. So huge opportunities coming up. So I really want to grow this channel. I mean, I uploaded our new logo today. Or yesterday, the EFI Studios instead of just Ellison Fitness.
Oh, okay.
So the new logo is live on the channel. Trying to create, a more recognizable brand.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then personally, health wise, just getting into some kind of good routine.
Mm.
I'm the heaviest I've ever been in my life.
Mm.
I don't know if I like it or not. I'm stronger than I've ever been, but I'm also fluffier.
Right. I can say that too. It may be because I have taken 6 weeks off, but
You got a different reason than I do. Mine's the fudge.
I'm just gonna say it was the holiday bulking.
Exactly.
If I'm gonna reframe it
I had
in a positive way.
I had 2 trays of peanut butter fudge delivered to me personally.
I don't think I had any fudge.
Then my mother-in-law dropped by last night with a bag full. I'm like, I don't need no more.
Oh man.
Well, we're with this new setup in the new year. We're going to try to be a little more um, consistent in how the shows run, how we pace it. So we do want to start trying to dig into more in-depth topics. So, since Zach's background and education, everything is more in the mental health side of it, mine's more on the physical side of it. We thought we'd start looking into research articles, doing studies, um, more so educational side of it kind of thing, but also incorporate it into what we're dealing with in our personal life.
Right.
Um, what today are you looking to talk about?
I thought I think from a relevancy standpoint, goal setting. I
Mm.
mean, everybody is always flips that switch after the holidays and says, "Hey, let me set some goals for the new year. Let me set some resolutions. Let me get back at it." So I think that is a prominent thing because I'm, a resolution in itself, it kind of defaults to a goal.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
so it is, and I love it because so many people set goals, and I think where they get hung up is they don't know how to make it realistic. you
Yeah.
know it becomes, there's a lot of components that go into goal setting. You've got dedication, motivation, you got the discipline that goes into it, but essentially you've also got the framework to go into setting goals.
Hmm.
And I think two of the biggest components of goal setting is consistency and relevancy.
Yeah.
Consistency is, are you ready to do that work day in, day out, over and over and over again? And then relevancy is, why is it important to you?
Yeah.
Because if it's not going to be important to you, you're probably not going to stick with it.
Yeah.
And
I saw a quote, or it was not, I didn't see a quote. I heard a quote. Someone said, "Don't be mad about the results you didn't get for the work you didn't put in."
100%.
Like, you can't be mad that you didn't lose weight when you didn't put in the work.
And that's the thing is, I was reading, I can't remember where it was, but I was reading an article that basically took 1,000 people and polled them and said, you know, did you meet your New Year's resolutions? Did you meet your goals for 2020, whatever it was? I think it was like 22. And only 15%
Oh,
met their goals. And I even thought that was a high number, if we're being honest. And a lot of people, the feedback was, I didn't reach my goals, and it boils down to duration.
hmm,
It was too hard, too much time to get it. And I think it's like we get so frustrated and we get so upset, we just get so bent out of shape that we don't meet our goals in like a week.
hmm.
So it's like, I got on the floor, I did abs every single day for 3 times a day. Where the hell's my six pack?
Yeah.
And I was like, it's not gonna come
It's been
after a
2
week.
weeks now. Where is
Right.
it at?
And it's the same thing with career goals. People were like, I showed up to work, I did my basic job for a month straight. Where's my promotion?
Yeah.
I think we, we live in this world of, if I don't get it now, I'm gonna quit.
Hmm.
And we've forgotten what hard work is. And we've forgotten what it means to be excellent at something.
Oh, for sure.
And I think it boils back down to, if you can be consistent
Hmm.
with your daily habits and the basics. And when I talk about basics, I always refer to, what are your daily actions? What are your daily habits? Like, what is your diet? What is your
Hmm.
exercise? What is your self care? What does your sleep look like? So if we can be consistent at the basics day in, day out, you're going to reach your goals.
Yeah.
And so I always fall back to consistency, like you were talking about earlier,
Mhm.
and relevancy. So if you have those two components, we can work with a framework to get you where you need to go.
Yeah.
But I think that's what I've been thinking about. It's like, knowing that there's a long road ahead for myself to get back to where I want to be. I have no excuse not to be consistent. I had no excuse not to show up for the gym now. I
Mhm.
had a really good excuse because there's a piece of metal hanging out of my hand, and they're
Yeah,
like, "Don't
and the bones
jostle it around."
separated.
Right. But now I don't have an excuse.
I mean, you're not 100% yet, so you do have a little, but
Don't give me an out.
no,
Joey.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. But no, putting in the work, the consistency is the hardest part.
Mhm.
I mean, for anybody. Um, and I relate that a lot when I'm trying to train people. If you don't enjoy what you're doing either, you're not going to have that drive. It doesn't matter how motivated you want something. If you don't enjoy doing it,
Right.
it's going to be 100 times harder.
And it goes back to relevancy. Like,
Yeah.
why is it important to you?
Exactly.
Like, I'm not going to set a goal. I'm not going to say, "Hey, I want to be 225 and lifting the heaviest stuff for strongman competition," because that's not important to me.
I feel attacked.
I was
I'm
attacking you
I'm
directly.
225.
Are you really?
Yes, I'm the heaviest I've ever been.
But you know what I'm saying? That is not important to me. So why would that be a goal of mine?
Yeah.
And so it is. And you know, we had that class on mental toughness a couple of weeks back, and part of the four main components of building mental toughness is setting goals.
Mhm,
And we took the class through your basic SMART goal setup.
mhm. Yeah, I actually took a lot from that. I appreciated that. Uh, it's something that I've got to work on too, because from the mental side of it, I joke and I use it as kind of a shield, I guess,
Mhm.
to hide what I'm truly thinking. But uh, I know I have body dysmorphia.
Mm,
Like I know I've had it most of my life, if not
yeah.
all my life. I got my family is two ends of the spectrum. Like I've got relatives who are really into shape, like my brothers. Neither one of them had an ounce of fat on them growing up. My dad was a hobby bodybuilder, so he was
Mm,
260 with abs, and he was 5'10.
yeah.
You know, and then I have some other family that's overweight, that's not active, and I always it became fat phobic.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's a negative thing to say that you're fat phobic, but I mean, it's a I don't dislike people who are fat. I was truly scared of becoming fat.
Right.
And I still have that to a degree, like not as bad. Thankfully, I've worked on my mental health a lot to
Mhm.
get away from it. But I have realized in like the last probably 6 to 8 months, my weight is the highest it's ever been. I'm a little softer in places that I've not been in years.
Mm,
And it's kind of made me want to reevaluate my goals.
okay.
Because like you were saying, is how relevant it is to you. I know I'm never going to be the top level strongman. I have in the past looked like I was, 12 to 16 weeks out from a bodybuilding show,
Hmm.
and I was happy with that.
Right.
I've never been like that 12 to 16 weeks from winning a championship competition.
Right. Right.
So I don't know if it's just right now, if I'm in my head trying to decide which way I should go.
Okay.
Should I dig my feet in and just keep pushing with the strength? Because I'm 100% stronger than I've ever been. I've bench pressed, log pressed, squatted, done all that more weight than I've ever done. But I'm not happy when I look in the mirror.
Gotcha. Do you feel like that is playing into that historic piece of you growing up, or is that your current perception?
It's playing into the historic because from, let's say, trying to think, after high school, I went from overweight to severely underweight.
Mm,
Went from eating 6, 7,000 calories a day to eating one miniature personal pan pizza every other day from Target when I was working, and I'd go work out every day. I dropped from like 220 to 165 in the course of about a month and a half. Not the healthiest option, obviously, but after that, I kind of stayed in the 185 to 195 range. I stayed in the healthy goal weight. I was able to do things that uh, I can definitely not do now, like especially calisthenic stuff, like
right.
pull ups. Like I can do pull ups, but I used to be able to do the windshield wipers where you bring your legs up, swing side to side, keeping the core tight.
Right.
Yeah, and it goes back to that. Like I know what I'm capable of in that level. I've never hit a high achievement in strongman, so I'm losing that motivation to keep training it.
Yeah. And so you know you think through it. You got motivation,
Mhm.
inspiration, and action. I always tell people you can only depend on the action.
Yep.
You're not always going to be motivated. You're not always going to be inspired, but you can always take some sort of action. So I guess I would question is like, what is the most meaningful thing for you? Like, what is your not end goal, but like,
Mhm.
what do you want?
I hate saying this because it sounds bad, but it's vanity.
But there's nothing wrong with
Yeah,
that,
I want to look good.
right?
I
It's
want my wife to be
but
proud to show me off. You know, I want to be a
right.
trophy husband.
Well, and the thing is like that. A lot of times, it is that is aesthetics is
Mhm.
important, and that's not. You should feel valid in that. So that's what I was just simply asking. It's like,
Yeah.
what is it important for you to be able to lift the heaviest things? Is it what is going to make you the happiest and most content right now?
I think it's honestly, I think it's the looks, we've been so, especially in the last 5 to 10 years, we've been so programmed to say that's bad. You shouldn't feel that way.
Right.
But it's human nature to want to look and feel the best. Like
Yeah.
I feel good right now, but I don't mentally feel good.
Well, the thing is like your self perception is
Hmm.
everything. So like if you are looking at yourself and saying, "Hey, I don't feel good. I'm not
Hmm.
feeling content." Like it also there's a fine line, obviously, with body dysmorphia, but also there's a confidence that comes from the hey, I look the way I feel,
Hmm.
and so it's for me, it's like definitely aesthetics are great. I want to have this overall fitness level where I'm able to essentially perform and do what I feel like I want to
Hmm.
do. So whether it's going out for a 25-mile outing in the mountains, or if it's because you never see me lifting super heavy
Yeah.
because that's not important to me. It's not important to my what do I want? I want to be
Hmm.
resilient in the mountains. I want to be able to take a fall and be okay. I want
Yeah.
to be able to be a little bit flexible. I want to be able to pull myself up and over a wall if I have to.
And see that, and I keep thinking back to it because the first thing that comes to mind is the way I look. But when I did look that way, I had the abs. I was,
Hmm.
you know, built in a V shape. I didn't think at that time I looked good. So it's I'm looking back at pictures. I'm like, oh, I looked way better then.
Right.
But I do remember what I do remember from that time is being able to do a muscle up, being able to move my body easily compared to now. Like right now, it's a lot harder to move my body weight than it used to be.
Right. And a lot of time that consistent hard work in the gym, no matter what you're doing, the byproduct is going to be an aesthetically pleasing body
Yeah.
type, or at least feeling better about yourself. And and we fall back again on motivation, inspiration, and action. You're taking action. People that suffer from depression, I'm like, what have you attempted to do? Because it falls into like behavioral activation.
Yeah.
So what are you physically making yourself do to try to improve your mood?
Hmm.
So for me is I know if I'm having a bad day, if I go outside for a 5 to 10 minute walk, get some fresh air, my mood is going to increase. It may be
Oh yeah.
from a 0.5 to a 0.7,
But
but
it's
it's an
increase.
improvement. And
Yes.
so when we are teaching people these strategies and techniques and skills, it's like what in the past. I'm very solution focused.
Yeah.
Like what in the past has worked for you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this have you attempted it? No. What's stopping you from attempting it? I don't feel like it. Screw how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Do it. Do the action. You don't have to your feelings don't necessarily have to be attached to the action.
Yeah.
You could have you seen there's that funny TikToker meme that was going around. It's like this person like stomping, walking. It's like taking a stupid walk to help my stupid mental health. But I'm like, that's so
But
true. Like you
yeah.
don't have to feel. You can be bitter about it, but if you're at least taking action, you're
Mhm.
attempting to change something. Because if you don't take any action, nothing's going to change.
No, you're right. And I think that's kind of what's gotten me to the bright side of all this. I keep trying to look at the good things and everything. That's another personal goal that I'm trying to do. Is like when I'm faced with something that's frustrating, look at something that's opportunity. So I'm not happy with the way I look, but it's forcing me to reevaluate my programming. So I get to rebuild my program, which I love building programs. I
Right.
like setting goals, building something around those goals that's going to help me or the people that are paying me to do it or
Right.
asking me to do it. to get them to their goals. So now I'm sitting back looking at, okay, how can I maintain as much strength as I've gained as possible without losing? Because obviously, when you lose weight, you're going to lose strength.
Right.
But how am I going to increase my aesthetic? How am I going to minimize muscle loss? And it's got me excited because now I get to build a new program.
Hmm.
I get to build a program that I've never used before because it's never been in this situation before.
Yeah.
So that is kind of the bright side, I guess, is the best thing
Yeah.
to put.
But I mean, I'm glad you mentioned that because so many people look at challenges and obstacles as frustrations, as this thing I have to overcome. But if you reframe that thought process and say, no, I'm looking at this as an opportunity to
Mhm.
grow, you're gonna build that resiliency. You're
Oh,
gonna
yes.
build that confidence. So now it it's almost, what my boss was like. I'm so glad that you said yes. This is a new program we're trying to implement, and it's literally starting from scratch.
Yeah.
And for me, that's extremely exciting. So it's a very big obstacle. It's a very big challenge, but it's also exciting because I'm looking at it as this opportunity to make a huge impact in my community.
Yeah.
And so, like, that excites me. So, same way. So you're reframing an obstacle as a, hey, this is a challenge. This is an opportunity for me to
Mhm.
try something new. This is an opportunity for me to grow. And I think that is such a massive thing
And
to
I
take on.
and kind of relating back to the video you made, I did. I'll be honest, I didn't see the whole video, but I did watch enough of it. I think I know what it was talking about. Where you were talking about conflict is not bad.
Hmm.
Well, if you see a challenge and you're afraid of conflict, you're not going to do what we're talking about. You're not
Yeah.
going to look at the bright side. Like perfect example in my day job, I had a situation where a vendor was holding hostage information that we needed that they just didn't want to give me the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
They wanted me to pay extra money. And instead of saying, okay, well, crap, now I got to go back and review thousands of emails and collect it piece by piece. No, I used it as a negotiation situation. And I learned, I went into the conflict with, okay, here's the deal. You can do this for me that you've done for me the last few years, or we're going to result to another company. And I was able to start researching other companies that do the same thing. Negotiations were made. We're moving on to a different company now.
Yeah.
And I mean, it benefited the company overall because we're going to save money in the long run now
Right.
because these other companies do better jobs for cheaper. And I mean, it was a conflict that I could have just been like, oh, well, let me just go do my job now.
Right.
Or say, no, look, this is something that we've worked done in the past. If you're not going to hold up your end, we're going to deal with it head on, or we're going to move on to another company. So
But that's the thing about confrontation. It's such an important part of any relationship,
yes.
personal,
If
professional.
you're afraid of having confrontation, you're not going to grow.
No, because that's avoidance.
Mm-hmm.
And if you avoid something, you're getting out of the cycle. So if we're avoiding, you're going to stay in that cycle until something happens where it's going to force you to do it. And it's much better to accept that challenge and say, hey, I'm going to be proactive on it, because
Mm-hmm.
you could prepare for those conversations, but maybe something where it throws a kink in it and you're not prepared, and now you're forced to have that confrontation. It
Mm-hmm.
just doesn't go well.
Yeah.
I think human nature, we want to live in harmony, but the
Some
thing
of us.
is,
Some of us.
the thing is like we live in a dichotomy. Like
Oh yeah.
there's always good, there's always bad, there's always happy, there's always sad. Like there's no such thing as just, oh,
And I think that's why me and Alex work so well together is because does she wants to please everyone. She wants everybody to be happy, live in a harmonious
yeah,
world. And I'm the one that's like, no, no, we're not going to do that. Like somebody said something today. They were like, if they were talking about a business who made a post that was a little confrontational and their rating went from like 4.9 down to 3 point something. And I was like, just because they had a different opinion.
right.
I told that person, I said, well, thank God Alex handles our public relations. I said, because if it was up to me, we'd probably like a 3.5 or 2.5.
How many conversations have we had? Right? I was like, wait,
Yeah.
let's think through this.
You and Alex are the ones who calm me down, and I'm the one that riles y'all up.
That's true. That's true.
Like, no, you shouldn't do that.
But I will say, the more comfortable you get with confrontation, the more confident you get, because you're approaching it with an empathetic. You're
100%.
you're approaching it with curiosity. I'm not here to like attack you. I'm here to figure this out so we
Mhm.
can meet the objective that we're kind of agreeing upon.
I tell you, we've talked about it. If anybody's watched this show for more than 1 or 2 episodes, they know we work for Target. We both were in loss prevention. Prior to me being in loss prevention, I was very timid. I was very quiet. I was super scared of public speaking. I would never in the world host a podcast. Would never in the world host a competition where I had to stand on mic and talk through the whole show.
Right.
But put myself in a position where I had to confront people who were doing things illegally and have that confrontation every time. It increased my confidence. It increased my ability to handle stressful situations. And now, I mean, we're doing
Yeah.
a podcast after work today.
It, that's the same thing, like going through grad school and becoming a therapist and getting my license. It's one of my favorite things about being a therapist is challenging my clients
Yeah.
because if you do it correctly, you're building this rapport where they feel comfortable bringing these big situations up to you.
Mhm.
And so they know that I'm not going to judge them. I'm not being biased. I'm helping them navigate and process and figure out what direction they want to go.
Yeah.
And so when I say, you know, how has that worked out for you? I did this and did this. Well, how did that work out for you? I'm like, well, not well. I was like, right. What do you feel? And so you can challenge them in a very empathetic way because they're not. I'm not lashing out. It's like a family member or a friend being like, no, you should do this, you should do that.
Yeah.
But it's giving them that space to really think through what they did, how they could do something differently, how they could do something more appropriately. And so it's amazing what challenging an individual, and you just watch it and you see that growth and you're like,
Yeah.
yes, it's like it's the most satisfying part of the job.
Oh, I can
It's
only
it's the
imagine.
same thing with personal training. Like you're literally challenging people to lift more weight,
Mhm.
to be uncomfortable consistently.
Oh, yes.
And I'm sure, I mean, it's just probably just as satisfying to see somebody excel, break those
Oh, for
barriers.
sure. Like,
Man,
I had a client who outdid me on deadlift, and I had someone say, "Does that make you mad that he's doing more than you?" I'm like, "No, that actually pumps me up. I'm excited that I was able to help someone surpass me."
see, and that's the sign of a good leader.
Oh,
So
thank
the sign of a good leader is you want to do such a good job
you. Mhm.
training an individual that they take your job. Like
Oh, yeah.
because like that is it. It's like if I can get somebody to to grow past where I'm like I'm gonna set my ego aside. Like I want you to excel. I want you to be successful. There's enough success for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And I think people get so bent out of shape. Like if you're successful in your podcast, well, like what does that mean for my
And I hate that.
podcast?
There
There's
are
not.
people who spend like, what was it? Somebody talked about, the number of podcasts that are out there. They said if you go on to Apple or Spotify, one or the other, and look at how many podcasts are out there. There's hundreds of thousands.
Absolutely.
But you know how many are past like the second episode? I think it was like 15% made it past like the first 10 episodes or something like that. And it's because they don't get the growth immediately and they
Right.
see all these other
It's the
ones.
1 week.
Yeah, that 1 week.
But
Yep.
but the thing like me and my wife, well, I don't think anybody knows Katie, but like me and my wife will talk all the time of the importance of creating for the sake of creating,
Oh, yeah.
the sake of the process. Like even just the time it takes to create a podcast,
Mhm.
edit it, put it out there, like that is building resilience. That's building consistency. That's building confidence in your abilities. And people just forget that sometimes the goal is the process.
Mhm.
It's not the outcome. The goal is the process, and that's why they have things called process goals. But we're not going to get into that.
And I mean, if you take us for an example, I mean, we started in this room
Mhm.
with a table, a single mic that was so bad that I almost scrapped that first episode. But I was like, no, let's go ahead and put it out anyway. And now we've moved rooms a couple of times. We've added decor.
Right.
We've got better mics. We've
Right.
got better cameras, and it's just consistency,
Right.
dedication to it. And I mean, we're not making money off of we're not making big bucks. I think last year's revenue, I was gonna be able to pay you $20, buy you dinner one night, So,
Right.
we're doing this because we enjoy it. We love doing it. And hopefully one day it'll turn into something larger.
And I think people forget that you can make an impact without knowing it.
Oh, okay.
And there's been times where I'll post something on social media, not even thinking twice about it, and 3 months down the road, somebody will like send me a DM. It's like, hey, remember that post you made about this, this, and this? Like that meant a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It helped me get through this. And like for me, I'm not thinking about that person. I'm
Yeah.
thinking like a lot of the stuff that I share on social media is my own journal.
Mm-hmm.
It's like my own private thoughts. And I'm just like, man, if I'm dealing with this, how many other people are dealing with this? And so I just feel that need like to publicize it because and I have got response. It's like, man, I needed to hear that today.
Yeah.
Like I that hit home what you said about this, this, and that. And I'm like, other people are needing to hear it.
Mhm.
So the more that we can share information and the more that we can be vulnerable and kind of open to say,
Mhm.
hey, I'm not a perfect person. I struggle with this as well.
Yeah.
You get those genuine interactions and you get that genuine feedback. And now you're connected. Now you have a community. Like my goal is to how can I build that like-minded community
Mhm.
of people that want to elevate each other?
Yeah.
And I think that, I think that's what the goal is for this podcast. That's
Well, our last episode when Noah was on, um, in my mind it was a pretty simple show, but we kind of just shot the shit.
yeah,
We didn't have any path. We just talked about what we were going through, and I didn't think it was going to be anything great. But I had a client message me. I think we got like 30 views off of it.
yeah.
It wasn't a big like we've had shows that get 100 views. This one I think less than 50. But I had a client message me. He's like, "That was a great episode. I enjoyed it from start to finish." And like, he sent me a long, very nice message. I mean, it made my day. Honestly,
Yeah.
I was reading it. We were heading up to family for Christmas. I was like, I showed it to Alex. I was like, this made my day. We made an impact on at least one person.
And that's what it's about, man.
Mhm.
It's just we're all in whatever this experience is together. And so, but
Hey,
like,
conspiracy theories come later.
oh no, we should bop into the conspiracy
You want to do
theory.
it? I mean,
Yeah, we should.
we,
That's a perfect
well,
segue.
let's make another report,
Oh, yes,
another
that's fine.
pour. So we we had such a fun time doing the. Here, I'll let you go this time since I poured last time.
Oh, pour heavy though.
Yeah, go ahead. So the last episode, or not the last episode. God, mighty. Nope. All right, I made the cripple do it. So we had so much fun on the conspiracy theory episode. We decided going into season 2, we're going to make a conspiracy theory of the day. So this week, I honestly, what I did is I threw in chat GPT. I said, "Give me the top 10 most entertaining conspiracy theories," and I just picked the first one that caught my eye.
Okay.
So this week is Paul McCartney of the Beatles actually died in 1966, and the Paul McCartney we have now is a lookalike stand-in.
Okay.
Have you heard this one?
No, this is the first I've heard this one.
So it caught my eye because I saw a video the other day of Paul McCartney coming out of a restaurant, and the guy behind him looked just like John Lennon, who was killed in the 70s, 60s, 70s. So John Lennon was shot and killed, and this guy, Paul McCartney's walking out. Paul McCartney's walking out of a restaurant with a guy right behind him with the circle glasses, long hair, just looked like an overweight John Lennon right behind him. And I'm like, are any of them alive or any of them dead? Is it all just it's Hollywood? Is it or the music industry?
That's true. Like, how many people have been cloned? They say
Oh
Eminem
my.
has been cloned. Like, his last great album was what? I would be, well, I'm trying to figure out
What's
which
the one with the house on the front? The MP or Marshall Mathers?
Oh, he made some good music after that.
He
but
made some good songs.
His
but
most
album, like
iconic
overall
album, in my opinion, is the Marshall Mathers LP.
Yeah.
That's the one with the house on
Yeah.
it. But yeah,
that was my first explicit CD.
I remember sitting at the kitchen table watching that CD get snapped in front of me by my parents.
No.
But yeah, so I don't know, man. Like I like to think that we have the ability to do it.
Hmm.
Um,
So more about the specific with this one before we start getting too far off subject. There was, I think, a car crash or something that happened with him in it. Kind of like who was the one who had one recently that everybody thought was he died. They actually reported on it that he died. It was Jamie Foxx, I think, or somebody, or no, Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart had a crash. They reported that he died, and then it came out, no, he's not. He didn't die. He's in the hospital. He's fine. Well, I think that's what happened. I think he was in a car crash, and everybody said he died, and he didn't. But then afterwards, people started comparing pictures of before and after, and he has different facial structure. And one of their songs, I think, on the what's the album where they're walking across Abbey? Is it Abbey Lane?
I think so. Yeah.
So on Abbey Lane, there's a song that if you play backwards, there's a portion that says Paul McCartney died or something along those lines. I have to do a little more research into it. I'll see if I can find something to overlay on this. But I've heard this theory before, and there was a very convincing person. I can't remember who it was on TikTok, but they laid it all out, and I was like, okay, I could see
Yeah.
where they just get a stand-in who can sing well, maybe
I mean, it's not like
similar.
he's playing hard chords.
Yeah, I'm not. I
You
mean,
know what I'm saying? It's 4 chords.
yeah, exactly. Four chord band.
Right.
Yeah. So, what's your thoughts on that? Do you think Paul McCartney died or John Lennon didn't die? Let's just go a whole Beatles theory.
You know, I appreciate what the Beatles did for music, but I'm not a huge fan.
No.
Like I'll listen to their music and stuff, but I'm not very knowledgeable about the band. Like
Okay.
I
I figured you
enjoy.
would have been a kind of a secret Beatle head.
No, I mean they've got great music. I'm not knocking it. I'm
Yeah.
just, I grew up with pop punk and alternative rock and
I'll be honest. Alex got me into the Beatles way more than what I know because of
if Noah, not Galloway, but my Noah, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry. I know this is blasphemous. I know that you're probably rolling your eyes right now, and I apologize.
Oh, what was there was a movie Across the Universe or
Yeah,
something like that.
great.
It
I
was all
enjoyed it.
Beatles music. I mean,
I
yeah.
know. I loved it.
Oh no, what was the other one that came out recently where everybody in the world forgot who the Beatles were except for one man, and he made the music himself? Have you seen
Oh
that one?
no, I haven't seen that one.
Oh, it's titled one of their songs. It's like Tomorrow or something. And
Is it yesterday?
yesterday, yeah, that's it.
Yesterday.
Yeah, so it's yesterday, and he wakes up and nobody remembers who the Beatles are. He's playing the guitar and he's singing. He's a songwriter artist who's
Yeah.
not making it very well, and he starts playing it for this girl, and she's like, "What is that? I've never heard that." And he goes, "It's Yesterday by the Beatles." She goes, "I never heard of the Beatles. Who's that?" And he plays the whole song. She's like, "That was amazing. Why don't you play that instead of your other music?" And he started passing it off as his own. And, like he goes on to play with like Ed Sheeran and all these other artists. He has a song off with Ed Sheeran who can be the best songwriter, and he just uses Beatle music. Sorry, spoilers if anybody hasn't seen it. It's an old movie. I mean,
Yeah.
it's at least 5 or 6 years old. Yeah.
It's time for sports.
So I mean, him and Ed Sheeran go into a separate rooms. And like, we're going to write a song off the cuff. And he comes back and he plays like "Hey Jude" or something crazy, like one of their bigger songs, and smokes Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
And it's a hilarious movie. And at the very end, there's like 5 or 6 people in the world who actually do remember who the Beatles are, and they come to his concert, and you think they're all going to be mad that he's stealing, but they're all grateful that he's bringing the music back to the world.
I love that.
And it was a very heartwarming movie.
Oh,
It was
I'll have to
great.
check it out.
Yes.
No, I haven't
Highly
seen that.
recommend watching it if you hadn't seen it. But so let's give it a rating. Paul McCartney died in 1966, and they replaced him with a lookalike.
I'm going to go low. I'm going to say 1.5 out of 10.
1.5 out of 10.
Like possibility 1.5 out of 10.
Okay.
That's my initial take.
All right. So that's based off of just me telling you because
Right.
you have seen it. Based off of what I've seen, I'm going to go with a 4 out of 10. I'm going to say it's not as likely, but there's still some questions.
Okay. I like it. I like it.
So if anybody's watching still, if you're this far into the video, let us know on the Paul McCartney if you're old enough to even know who that is. I mean, I don't know how old our viewers are, but if you're watching Whiskey Waste and Way, I hope you're over 21. But do you think Paul McCartney was replaced? And second question, follow-up question, do you think John Lennon was actually killed or he faked his death? To get away from Yoko Ono.
Pretty good reason. And if he did, and there was a slightly bigger John Lennon following
Yeah.
McCartney out, I mean, given today's nutrients, could have been him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, well, I'm liking the new format of the show.
Me too.
I hope the viewers are as well. If you have anything you'd like us to talk about, anything you'd like us to hit on,
Whether it be mental health related, fitness related, conspiracy related,
Yes.
we're always going to have the conspiracy.
yes,
corner.
conspiracy of the day. We keep looking down because we got notes.
But yeah, so just let us know.
Yeah.
Just let us know.
Well, what's your thoughts on the Redbreast 12 year? We need to.
Man,
Whiskey's in the name of the title. We need to start talking a little more about whiskey. But
It's so smooth. It's so easy to drink.
it's a low proof. I think it's 80. What is it?
It doesn't have that bite. Yeah. So it doesn't really have that bite, and it makes it easy to. I feel like it's a conversational whiskey.
Oh, 100%.
So you can just sip on it, have a good conversation. You're not like, it's too much.
Yeah. So there's a couple channels that I'd like to try to connect with. One, I've talked to the guy who runs it. Go check him out. I'm going to screw this up. His YouTube channel is Brutally Honest, BREW, Brew, and he goes all these different distilleries. He does backgrounds on history of what the brewery or the distillery done, all their whiskeys and everything, and he does taste testing. He does a lot of stuff. I'm going to try to. He's in Alabaster, so I'm going to try to connect with him and see if maybe we can do a collab video or something. So maybe we can grab what we have and get his opinions. Say he's going to tell us, "Oh no, that's shit," or "No, that's really good," because we do have a wide range over there. I don't know if you can see it. On your shot. So right behind your head, there is my Christmas gift, the Blood Oath bourbon whiskey. That box alone right there, got me very excited when I opened it up. I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
But slide, if you can, I don't know if you can reach it from behind you. Can you slide it up real quick? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
If you can't do it.
You don't make me do work.
Just go ahead and take it off. You set it down. How badass is that?
It looks pretty good.
That bottle right there is probably the most expensive bottle I own. I will not be opening that for this show. I'm sorry. If this show makes it to season 22.
I hope I make it
No.
to season 22.
No. If this season makes it to 20, because we're on season 2, my daughter's 1 year old. Lucy's 21st. I think that's the bottle I'm going to crack open.
I like it.
Because I've got 2 bottles of Blanton. One is for May's wedding night.
Okay.
I'll crack it open with whoever's with me, because I'm sure she's not going to want to be with her dad on her wedding night, the night before her wedding. Yes, her godfather. But the other bottle of Blanton's is for her 21st birthday. She'll get to have a glass with me. If she likes it, continue drinking. If she doesn't, I'll save it for the rest of the show.
Yeah.
But that one, I want to find a special occasion. I just haven't decided what yet. So I think I'm going to get another bottle of Blanton's for Lucy. So it's same for them.
Same kind of tradition.
Yeah. I just haven't decided what I want to do with that. That one's going to be a special occasion.
Okay.
So
We'll keep
maybe,
that in mind.
how about this? If we reach, I think I set a goal for 2025. If we hit 3,000 subscribers to the channel and 100 members.
At the gym?
No, on the channel.
On the channel.
So, you can become a member to the channel for as little as 99 cents, whatever. If we have 100 members and 3,000 subscribers by the end of 2025, we'll crack that bottle open.
Where are we at now?
We're at 1192, 93 as of today.
Okay.
Subscribers and 25 members. So it's not unheard of. It's not out of the range.
It's not unrealistic.
Not
Go back to
unrealistic.
SMART goals.
We gained 25 members from September to December. So in October, in a quarter of the year, we gained 25 members. So if we can gain 75% more by the end of this year, not crazy, or 125% more.
Noah Galloway, if you're listening right now, I need you to use your Dancing with the Stars.
Mud Run, Tough Mudder.
Mud Run, Tough Mudder.
Oh, he was on a show too, something else.
Anything that you can pull out so we can open up that bottle
Yes.
is what I need you to do. You've got 11 months and 17 days. I don't
Something
know
like
what it
that.
is.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
even
more
know.
than that. It's 20 something days. Today's only the 7th.
Okay.
So 23 days?
24 days.
24. Or 22 days because I'm probably going to have to edit this before I post it. But
No, this is on you.
Yes. But no, I think that's my 2025 goals for the channel is to get us to 3,000. It's a little more than doubling everything, but we had so much growth last year, and it's just compounding.
Yeah.
Each month gets bigger growth than the month before, so I think it's fair and realistic.
Yeah.
So that'll be the heck. This is season 2, episode 1. Maybe by season 2, episode 5, we'll be cracking that bad boy open.
No, it's got to be 6 because there's pack 6 on that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So episode 6.
Pack 6, yep. So, all right. Well, I'm excited for what this year's going to
Me
bring.
too. I mean, I just, people, when the older they get, sometimes they feel like I'm on that downside. Like, I just feel like every year is just going to be the best year ever.
Dude.
And I'm so stoked for 2025. I mean, I may have a busted hand that's still swollen. It looks like Chubbs from Happy Gilmore. Saw on the hips kind of deal. But like I'm genuinely excited about 2025 and what it's going to bring.
Yes, I am too. Well, I mean, is there anything else that you want to hit on today?
I think it was good.
So we're going to end it like we always do. Remember, no one cares.
Train harder.
That